Hi, I'm Nathan Pierce from F5 Networks, coming back to you for part 2 in a short video series we're doing on cloud computing. And with me again, I have Brian Pickering. Thanks for coming back.
Absolutely, Nathan.
Appreciate it. So, Brian, just for people who didn't see the first episode, quick recap. What's your role at F5?
You bet. So I run the cloud computing sales group at F5, which also includes managed services. And this is my second round of duty at F5. So I spent the last 4 years at AWS, and I'm now back at F5 after those 4 years. And prior to that, I was at F5 for 8 years. So this is a little bit of coming home and also being...
Just can't shake us, can you?
No, absolutely.
But that's great. Your experiences from both sides of cloud, helping enterprises get there. And actually, you've worked at the cloud side as well with the destination. So that's an excellent perspective for this series that we're doing. So that's great.
Excellent.
So quick recap. And the last time we spoke, we talked a little bit, towards the end, we were talking about the importance for an enterprise, especially for their production top-tier applications, to just have a consistent platform to go to. So this problem with their journey is, it's cloud is fine for some of these born-in-the-cloud applications that didn't exist anywhere before, but migrating an app that already exists in a data center that already has a fairly stringent sign-off policy on all the services that need to be there, how can we get a more common platform around the place? So, and you hinted at the availability of F5 within these cloud providers. I want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a big part of what I'm here to do and working with you and the teams is to make sure the market understands that all of that feature functionality that they have invested in, these enterprises have invested in, is fully available on the cloud platforms.
Okay, so this is our entire function
set. This is the entire...
So it's not just load balancing, we're talking like the single sign-on, federation, application filing, DNS services, the whole lot, everything.
Yep, every component of our technology is fully available on the cloud platforms. And that's, the other charter of our mission is to make sure that it's available and that it's running and the customers can get access to our solutions and technology. And
for the customers, the existing one, does it look the same? Is it the same operating system, everything?
Absolutely.
Okay, so really is a true common platform in both environments?
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. So a ratified process or policy inside can just be lifted and dropped it into the cloud environment?
Yes, absolutely. So if you think about one of the real values of F5 is that it's we call it synthesis. It's really the fabric of what we have to offer. So being able to leverage that fabric across whatever the platform is, on-premises, hybrid, cloud, we provide that full capability. So you think about if I'm a CIO and I've made a massive investment in technology, a technology specifically like F5, historically that would have been on-premises hardware. It's still going to have that component to it if they're doing on-premises. A bigger investment besides the hardware is really getting people trained. And so having that skill set in place and now being able to leverage that skill set into the cloud and whatever platform they choose to run F5 on, solve some real big pain points for these customers.
That's a really good point. Skill set, just that knowledge transfer is a large inhibitor, even within just a private data center, making a decision to go with another technology for something, for example. Getting proficient, that always takes time, often a cost that might be overlooked versus just the original CapEx to get it in there in the first place. Yeah. So we've got all these organizations. F5's the market leader. Like 96% of the Fortune 50 are using F5 to make their apps fast, available, and secure. So for them to simplify that journey to cloud, being able to take that policy and put it in an instance available on a cloud provider that's the same software, runs the same way, it looks the same, but I just take the policy with it. That must shave off a hell of a lot of complexities versus learning new tools and then having to manage both the F5 that you've got running privately and then new tools in a provider. That must be a nightmare for any administrator.
Absolutely. it comes down to it really accelerates their journey to whatever platform they're
without introducing new risk.
Exactly.
A big part as well.
Exactly.
Okay. So this leads me on to a recent case study we actually got from a customer of ours, Everbridge, which these guys provide notification services and management of notification services for critical events, an earthquake or something like that. They need to be able to get apps and services into regions that might be remote from their own data centers very quickly. And this was actually the example we just described was a big problem for them. I mean, they can't guarantee that the same provider is available in every version. So then does that mean that they have to train their IT guys to know every type of security and every type of access control across every type of potential provider? Doesn't scale, does it?
No.
So
I mean, that's exactly where our efforts that we started a few years ago. So we listened to the customer. The customer actually said that we need and we want the same look, feel, functionality in the cloud. And then you take a look at what Everbridge has done, and they're a great example of on-premises, hybrid, and cloud architecture, leveraging the same consistent look and feel and functionality feature set of F5. They can go into Amazon, leverage the AWS marketplace, spin up the F5 that they're going to use, and maybe it's a type of an event which has a time-bound kind of border on it so that they don't need it for an eternity, and then they can shut it down. They have the ability to be graceful in how they deploy their solution, regardless of where the need is around the world for that solution.
You mentioned hourly there, so it's not a matter of having to have a perpetual license. It's a utility-based offering that we have.
Yeah, we have the notion of really being able to supply the solution in whatever model the business needs to consume it in. So if that's a perpetual license, if that's an on-demand utility version, we can accommodate all of those different needs for the customer. So once again, I think it's really a testament to F5, and I say this as a newer F5 employee, and one of the reasons I came back, because they really do listen to the customer and bring this forward and deliver it in a way that the customer needs to consume it and wants to consume it.
That's excellent, and I think that's really reflected in the huge perception change of even how we talk about F5 these days. We talk about the fact that we bring application services to the application anywhere, anyway, and on any platform. So I mean, we've got an excellent history of being that hardware appliance HA pair kind of company, which many of our customers are still using and still going down that path. But for anyone who's actually starting to move into these hybrid environments and they want to consume in different ways, we've addressed that with being able to provide the same set of application services, but on many different platforms. We still have our hardware range because, well, what scales to our hardware range? I mean, it's that some people need that much. But then we've got our virtual editions, which they're available for private data center or in marketplaces that are tailored, with utility models. And then one we haven't touched on at all is our Silverline offering. So, consuming F5 services direct from F5 via subscription. So we're managing that and providing the expertise of, for example, DDoS protection. But we have the staff that know how to tune and run our product for DDoS. You just pay for the DDoS service. So it literally is any F5 application service anywhere and any time for any service, however you want to consume it.
Absolutely.
It's an evolutionary change, really, isn't it?
It is.
From just buying tin and throwing it in a data center.
It is, and it's been, we've had to retool how we think from a go-to-market from our sales organization.
Yep.
We've invested in making sure that the technology does run as expected on all of these platforms. The customers can rest assured that we have relationships with the tier 1s, tier 2s, and tier 3 providers out there, and that we've gone to great lengths to ensure that the technology is available and operates on these different platforms. So it's completely transparent to the customer.
Okay.
And regardless of if they're setting up a large big data run, doing research and development in an HPC type of environment, bringing their SAP or Oracle over and putting that into a hybrid or a cloud environment, we can bring all of those network application services to bear that they have depended on for so long with F5 networks.
That's great. And linking back to the previous episode, we talked a little bit about how still the way people get into cloud is maybe dev and test. And I guess when you're doing dev and test, it's not public facing. It's often not using live kind of production data. So they didn't have to worry about these application services that they need for production. And I guess this is enabling that journey from the dev test to live tier 1 running in the cloud provider. That's what we're helping our customers do and working with them and making sure that we're there
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we truly can accelerate that journey for them. So back to what we talked about in the first episode, it's really about driving agility into the organization. Every time we can help a customer accelerate that, they can spend their time innovating and driving new services for their end customers and delivering better value to their end customers. So if we can help an IT organization not have to manage 15 different vendors to get the functionality that they can get out of an F5 solution, if we can help them on-ramp to the cloud in a fashion that meets their controls and requirements and regulatory issues. I mean, there's so many different facets that we can come in and really be a supporting member of that team and help that journey accelerate.
Now, there's an area that was only recently kind of brought to my attention, which was a use case more for cloud-to-cloud migrations. So we hear about hybrid a lot, but often people think when they hear hybrid, it means like private cloud and public cloud, and just having applications maybe span that, or your resources span those. But people are looking at the cloud brokerage market is a fast-growing one where people are saying like, for this service, actually the model's better in that provider. And I need to be agile and be able to go, you know what, or as that ramps up, actually, I wanted to go over here now. And being able to have this kind of policy that can easily be just lifted out of that one and brought to this one. I don't have to reskill on all of the services for security and access and all those things. I can, with using the F5 virtual appliance, just lift and drop and bring it with the app, which is a virtual machine already. So it's great for even migration of services that have been deployed. I think is a big benefit there that we bring. Yeah,
even intra-cloud migrations, where somebody's going to be moving applications internally in a cloud. We can make that process a lot easier. So I think it's kind of limitless in terms of how you want to choose to leverage the capabilities. I mean, we've got an ecosystem that is in place to help through any part of that journey. As I said, we've got the relationships with the cloud providers, and we're here to make sure that that's a successful journey for the
simplification
for the customer
and reduction of risk. Then, like the two kind of key things we're bringing along there. So we've already got quite a few providers out there that we've added. We've been added to their marketplaces, and we're growing constantly, aren't we? This is a big area of F5. It's a huge area of focus, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent.
So the marketplaces that are coming online, you should expect us to be a part of those marketplaces. Fantastic. If they're not already online. If they're online already, then we will be there.
That's great to hear. Yeah. Excellent. So we'll wrap up there. I think that's a kind of natural closing point today. But thanks again for coming along, Brian. It's great to have your expertise from both F5 side and Amazon and back again. So I appreciate your comments, and hopefully that's of huge value to our customers as well.
Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. You've been listening to Nathan Pearson, Brian Pickering from F5 Networks talking about cloud.